We're all so excited to be here.
So excited. It's Monday morning. Look out, everybody.
Man, it's time to get things done.
Yeah. Welcome around the Workstand Daily. What are we talking about?
Well, on the vein of communication, which we've been talking about here and there with things like stock status management, more communication, but this
Yeah.
time in the form of the order confirmation page message, which is
hmm
not the easiest thing to say without stumbling over one's words.
You did
But we find
excellent.
that in settings and catalog settings
hmm
in this little piece right here. And I think this is important for a very important reason. We often talk about how shoppers, customers, whoever read selectively. We all have
hmm
these processes in our head, things we're trying to do. Not everybody reads every message. Um, but while you might only acknowledge an order confirmation email to the extent that you know you got it, like you're not going to sometimes always open those and read all the way through them. Almost nobody that I can think of would place an order and either tap the button on their phone or click it on their computer and then just walk away
No,
without knowing that order was completed. You wouldn't do that, would you?
absolutely not. I always wait for that page to load before I navigate away from it. I just
Yep.
want to know, did you get my order?
So this is that message that you see on that page. And so I think as it relates to all the places in the workstand system where you have an opportunity to communicate with a shopper or a customer, this one's a little more important because most people just aren't going to look away from the screen. And so there's a
hmm
higher likelihood they see this message. And that message looks like, oops, let's see. That's the wrong part of the, let me just cancel that for the moment.
Yeah.
That looks like this. So when that order confirmation page pops up, this is that page that pops up by default.
hmm
And the message that we put in there by default is just this top part, these top two lines. Add this little bit. And one of the popular things is to tell people, look, if this order's for pickup in store, we're going to let you know when it's ready for pickup. You don't need to come, standing outside in the parking lot, placing the order and walking in the front door.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't put a lot here. And I think that's important. So just because we have a high likelihood that this is going to be read doesn't mean we need to write a novel here.
No, keep it nice and concise. The essentials.
Yeah.
Set appropriate expectations.
Right. Don't blow the opportunity of knowing there's a good chance somebody's going to see something by loading it so full of text that as soon as they see it, they completely shut off and don't read it. So give them enough that's valuable, but enough that they will stop and read it versus, you know, 800 or 900 words of copy here that stretches this out past the screen they can see and they just go, I'm not going to read all that because that's just what people they just won't read it. So use it wisely,
Mhm.
but it is an incredibly helpful piece because of that different little twist on things where they've just placed an order, they just tapped that submit my order button, and they're just not going to look away from their device until they see this message.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This could be the first day we do this in 5 minutes.
Wow. I know. Any other details?
I don't think so. I mean, I just think it's important. And
Yep.
again, we talked about this a lot lately. Don't think it's a set and forget thing. Play with it. If you
Correct.
do some things and you're not seeing results, come back and change it up a little bit. Just don't overload it, and don't everything doesn't need to be bold. Selectively bold things out. If you're using colors, be aware of contrast.
Mhm.
So that's going to be in this little green box, and it's going to be green font. So think about how that's going to come out when you try and change things up or how small you make the font. And then that's about it. The other thing that goes here, since we're here and we're remarkably quick today, this is where you might add other tracking code, third party tracking code. So this is the place where if whatever you're trying to track happened upon order submission, then
Mhm.
this is where your code snippets would go for that. Google Tag Manager is the most common type of code that goes here. We don't
Mhm.
use Google Tag Manager a lot in this way, but if you're doing that, then this is where that would go. And there's a link to the user's guide that can tell you more about that.
Mm, mhm.
Well, there you go. Well, let's take the win
Hell yeah.
and call it a day. Order confirmation page message. Very good
Mhm.
place for communication. Very difficult to say quickly 3 times. And I guess we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. See you tomorrow.
We'll play some music out.